Short, like I said, so I'll just start off. I'll start off at the beginning from what my mind can really remember. I'll just speed it up. 1 through 5 years old, I just spent my life in Texas. I don't remember much besides just, running up and down the streets, collecting frogs, putting them in a wagon. But once I hit 5 years old, my mom met my stepdad, and we moved to California. And that's where I spent the rest of my 15 years of my life. But I don't really remember it until moving to California, actually starting to go to church. But we went to church regularly. It was a thing my mom had us do every Sunday. We did Sunday school, and then Wednesdays my mom cooked dinner at the church for Wednesday night dinner, and we would have our youth group that night. And I was just always there. So I've pretty much been going to church my whole life. In California, don't remember. I was probably like 13, but we started going to this camp called Family Camp, and it's up there in
Forest Falls,
California. And that's where I first got baptized, but I don't really count that one because it was kind of like I was a young kid. I was just in it, all the kids at camp were doing it, so I did it. And that was that. But, I did my high school there, military school, on base my whole life. And then, ever since being a kid, my mom will tell you that I always wanted to join the military. So every Halloween I would be a soldier. And then hitting like 15 years old, I moved back to Texas. So now I'm in Red Oak, Texas. I meet one of my best friends. We still go to church regularly. That's like the rest of my life. I'm going to church every Sunday. And still wanting to be a soldier. Me and my best friend got into some things I probably shouldn't have done. Thankfully, I was never caught by law enforcement. My mom had to whip me in shape and tell me if you're going to continue that road, you're not going to be able to do anything you want to do in life. And also that was more towards my sophomore, junior, the last 3 years of my high school. I wasn't doing very well with my mom. We were always arguing about things with my dad because they weren't together. They were separate. They were never married, so they were separate for my whole life. I always visited my dad though, so it's not like he's not in my life. I was always there with him on holidays, whatever holiday my parents decided to pick. But there were just things that unkind things she would tell me about my dad that I didn't need to know as a kid. But I'm not going to bring all that up because it's all in the past, and me and my mom are good. We're not hateful towards each other. But so senior year got probably the worst. I actually moved out of my mom's house, went to move in with my dad after I had already graduated. It was only for a few months because I already had a ship date for the military. But I'll rewind for a second. 15 years old. 16, I met my wife. I used to do theater, musicals. So I did my first musical in California. My last year I lived there. And when I moved to Texas, I had told myself I wasn't going to do it again because I wasn't going to have that friend group that I had in California.
Yeah.
But then my sister started getting into it whenever we were in Texas, and I would go watch her musicals, and it really made me miss it. So I got back into it, and we went to auditions, and we had to sing a song. So I chose Happy Birthday or whatever. And I ended up getting a part, but that's where I met my wife Jessica, and we dated for three years. And right, gotta look at her first. Dated for 3 years. I shipped off to basic whenever I came back from my dad's, and in basic training is actually where I consider my, getting baptized, because I was a man. I was making my own decisions, so I got re-baptized in basic training, and that one I do count. That was in 2017, the year I enlisted. And then shortly after graduating basic, I married my wife. And then we were in Fort Sill for 3 years. We found a church there that we liked. It was a small church, way smaller than Mosaic, so Mosaic's something new for us. But we got into that church. I was security for that church. She did worship for that church. And from Fort Sill, 3 years there, we came here to Clarksville, and we were hunting for a church. And we went to one church, not so fond of it. We went to Mosaic, and it happened to be the candle lighting service. And as soon as we got in the car after that, I looked up at her and I was like, this is it. This is the church what we need to do. It was perfect. So we chose Mosaic. I started security at Mosaic. I met Rodney, and he ended up mentioning the CMA group to me. We came to a meeting. We loved it. So we already took the steps. We got the book, the videos. We filled out the book. And then now we're members of CMA. I didn't think I'd be a road captain, second year. And I came up short on some money, so I had to sell my bike. So I don't even have a bike right now. But we'll get that figured out.
Yeah.
God's going to provide. He knows.
That's where I'm at. I'm here today. Still married.
27 kids later.
Yes.
Give us a song.
No, I was in the background, the trees and stuff. I was the trees.
He used to do music with you guys. He used to do a lot.